ever-evolving digital landscape, for your business to thrive, you must adapt or die. Welcome to Marketing in the Age of AI, the podcast helping you harness the power of AI and marketing tools to revitalize and grow your business. And now here's your host, marketing expert and author of Authentic Marketing in the Age of AI, Emmanuel Rose.
Well, thanks for joining me on this episode of Marketing in the Age of AI. We are going to have a great guest by the name of Darren Saul, and we're going to have a robust conversation about the benefits of podcasting for your marketing, for your psychological health, and just for your sociability. Darren, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you, Emmanuel. And I love the intro as well. Very, very cool.
Oh, thank you very much. Well, please share a little bit about your background so we get to know you a little better, Darren.
Yeah, you bet. So I do a few different things. I'm a corporate recruiter. So I've been recruiting for about 25 years. I'm a photographer, and I stumbled into podcasting and digital media probably about 7-8 years ago.
Yeah.
And I started heavily using podcast in particular to market both businesses. And I've just been astounded at the results and the fun that I'm having and how the market's exploded, how podcasting has exploded as a marketing tool.
Well, that is amazing. So you got 7 years of podcast. That's pretty awesome. Did you start out with your own show or did you start out guesting?
I kind of just started with my own show. I did a bit of guesting along the way.
Yeah.
I actually put 2 shows together. So I've got one show for my recruitment business and one show for my general podcast marketing and photography business. And I just thought, you know what, let's just dive in. And if I go back to my first episodes, they were terrible. But that's part of the journey. You get better.
Oh yeah, no, it's amazing. How much goes into creating a show, but yet at the same time, it's such a small amount of effort compared to the people that you meet. And I think that's been the real gift is, I've, like you're in Australia.
Yep.
You and I would never cross paths otherwise. Right.
Yeah.
So it's a cool way to meet people. I talked to a guy today who was a big shot in AI computer programming for Amazon and Visa and, these very high profile companies that I would have never in a million years ever run across. So it's a treat that way for sure.
It really is, and I've met people from all over the world. I've got on podcasts from all over the world. Guests from all over the world have come on my show. I've learned so much, and it's just amazing the collaborations that you can generate and the people you meet and what you learn. It's sensational.
Well, so with your shows, you have 2 shows, obviously different markets, which is funny because I'm in the same situation. I reluctantly started 2 shows because the topics are so disparate. I couldn't figure out a way to get them to overlap.
Yeah, absolutely.
But so let's see, when you're setting up your show, are you doing all the editing and the post-production work also?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So I started off doing all of it myself.
Yeah.
All the preparation, all the production, all the promotion. And I got to the point where I was spending my whole Saturday just editing podcasts. And I said, you know what, this is crazy. So now I've outsourced it to some great freelancers.
Nice.
And they do a great job and they just cut a lot of that time and that work out for me.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really smart way to do it. Unless you really love that part of dealing with all those files and you have the aptitude for it and really good workflows, it's way better to outsource it to people who are really good at it. Yeah, they do.
And they do a great job. I mean, they make me sound better than I am.
Well, and that's just it. It's impossible. I think I can't market myself, right? Ironically. So my team, whenever I look at this stuff, my team does, I'm like, I would never say that about me. Man, that looks good.
Exactly. You see? It's awesome. Power of technology and the power of AI as well.
Yeah, for sure. And then, so then which platforms are you on? Are you video and audio or just audio?
Yeah, so both video and audio. For audio, I run one podcast on each. One is on Spotify for podcasters and one is on Podbean. But then, of course, I distribute them out to all the other channels like Apple and sometimes iHeartRadio and Stitcher and whatever else. But for my video, it's YouTube. And I would highly recommend people that are thinking about getting onto podcasts and even setting up their own show is do a video version as well, because the content that it gives you and the marketing material that it gives you is really powerful.
Yeah, I would say the number one, it's the most authentic, and that's the thing we're always striving for in marketing, right?
Yep.
And it is, it's actually, for me, I have more content than we can churn for the next decade because of the podcast, right? I mean,
Absolutely. Yeah.
it's so the volume is unbelievable, and then the authenticity is exactly what we want in this modern age.
Yeah, that's right. And also, if you don't really have the energy or the aptitude to just speak to the camera and do a monologue for sharing content,
Yeah.
having a conversation and just clipping it gives you everything you need, and it still builds that rapport and that trust because it's you.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad you brought that up because are you a monologue guy? Can you do that and talk to the
I haven't actually. I was thinking about starting to do a couple of episodes on my own.
Yeah.
But it's just a lot of energy. A lot of work.
I think there's something about the personality of the person. Like I'm not a monologue guy either. I'm like, I could not generate. My monologues would be 45 seconds.
Yeah. I'm the same.
Yeah.
I'm the same. And I'm also the type I like to get straight to the point. So if I have to monologue for 20 minutes, after 5 minutes, I've said what I have to say. I have to train myself to expand.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
It's interesting.
Concision is too long of a word.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about, let's say for a person, a professional services person, what are some of the first couple of things that they should think about in terms of when they're going to start a podcast?
Yeah, sure. So I think anybody that's starting a podcast, first thing I would definitely say is be ready to be in it for the long haul. It's not a short-term gain. It's not a short-term, quick fix. It's a game that you have to play for a while. Be patient, get better as you go, and the results will come. And all these results that you never dreamed of and collaborations will come. And all sorts of ideas will spawn from that process. But first of all, be patient. It's not going to be fly by night. And a lot of people get into podcasting, they get excited. And after 10 episodes, 20 episodes, say, all right, I'm done. I'm not getting anything out of it. I quit.
Yeah, I think that was what I saw. It's 80% of them don't get past 10 episodes, right?
Yep, absolutely. So definitely that's the first thing I would say.
Okay.
And the second thing would be have a bit of strategy about it. Don't just dive in, turn on the recording and just go. Think about what the show is going to be about. Prepare your guest, prepare yourself, prepare the niche of the show and what you want to achieve with the show. Start to promote it properly and really build a whole strategy around your podcast system. It's not just spray and pray, turn the thing on and off you go. Like if you think about it properly, you can really get some great traction if you just put a bit of strategy behind it.
Well, that's interesting. So then what was the strategy that you used for your photography business?
Yeah, so for my photography business, I started off just using podcasting to build awareness for my brand. And so I started talking to all sorts of different people, sometimes a little bit more aligned with those areas. And then I thought, you know what, I'm really loving this so much that I turned it into a marketing platform. So I was flying the plane as I was course correcting as I was in the air.
Yeah, right.
And I thought, you know what, I'm going to make this into a marketing platform for people. So I can be really broad in the people that I speak to, and I can start monetizing it possibly as well and make it into a marketing platform as opposed to just a show to bring awareness for my photography business. So that's what I've done from that brand.
Yeah.
But my recruitment brand, I've kept very niche and very much just for content and awareness for the recruitment industry to build business from that point of view. So I've kind of, it's two different strategies for the two podcasts.
I love it. Yeah, that's amazing. And what kind of photography do you do?
So I do a bit of teaching, but
Yeah.
I like, my favorite genre would be street photography and documentary photography.
Oh, okay.
I love it. But, throw me anywhere with a camera and I'm gone for the day. And I'm just wandering around and I love it. But I do headshots, branding, events,
Yeah.
corporate and private,
Yeah, I
teaching,
get you.
and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're a curious soul and you seem like you're like a combination introvert and extrovert.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I am. Yeah, I am. When I'm on, I'm on. I give it my all.
Yeah.
I burn out quick too.
Right. That's funny.
Yeah.
So then, all right. So you want to have a little bit of a strategy. You want to pick your target market, your target group of people that you want to talk to, and then who you want your audience to be.
Yep.
What about some of the technical things? What are you recommending for people when they're just getting started?
Yeah. Also, from a tech point of view, you don't have to go and spend big money. You don't have to buy the most amazing, expensive gear. You start with Zoom if you like. You've got an audio and a video file that comes straight out. You can already work with those files. If you want to get a bit more sophisticated, go to something like Riverside or StreamYard or one of those products
Yep.
that people are using. You can buy a mic like this. This is a Rode mic, but not expensive, but you can buy really cheap USB mics for $50, $50. You can have a couple of lights and you can set up your own podcast system and ecosystem for like $100 if you like. You can use Apple AirPods. You don't have to go crazy.
Right.
And most of the apps that you're going to host stuff on are free. YouTube's free. Spotify for podcasters or Podbean is pretty free. And you don't have to waste a lot of money. So just start small, get better. And then as you get more sophisticated, you might add little bits of tech into the process. And you might start putting your things through Canva templates, or you might start outsourcing some production, or you might start adding some intros and outros. And, you might start high level editing things a bit more. But to start with, just kind of exercise your muscle, and you don't have to spend a lot of money. Like, don't get caught up going crazy and coming back with after $1,000 and then you sitting with all this gear.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, that makes sense. What were some of the things that you did when you're getting started to build your listener base, your audience?
Yeah, that's a really good one. To build your base, your listener base, you really have to do a combination of lots of things. So you've got to, first of all, work person to person. So really create a good experience, create network as best you can, use networking groups. I still do that to this day. I belong to some great networking groups. Do that and promote your podcast everywhere verbally, and just give people great experiences, and then they start referring people to you. So that's number one, and referring people to your podcast.
Yeah.
And then using social media is a huge one to get your message and your show out there. And you've got to be on more and more platforms these days, but you don't have to go crazy. Use email marketing is a great one. Give people your episodes every week or so. Shoot out an email. Here's my latest episode.
Yep.
This is the person I spoke to, or this is the person. This is what I talk about. This is what some of the gold. So that's really powerful. And then start thinking like a marketer. Like, put it in your news email signature. Put it in your, I don't know, if you want to really get creative, do a letter drop at your local cafe, whatever. So you can think about them from a marketing point of view, from a tech modern world, and also from a traditional analog world.
Yeah.
And just try and get exposure as best you can through as many different channels. And the other great thing with social media is use groups. Groups is another great one. And a lot of people are doing that these days as well.
Wow. And then what have you found to be the most successful activity so far, like just in the last little piece of time, like currently?
Yeah, I'd say all of them, really, all of them as a combination. But the social media piece has been a big one. That when I started, I did heavily promotion on social media,
Yeah.
on all my shows. So, and you promote it like a film. You promote the episode coming up,
Right.
then you promote the episode, and then you might come back to it and you promote a few episodes back, and you might put together a little video with 5 episodes as the greatest hits. So you start to think about, how can I put all this together and not just do one episode and promote it once and it's all over?
Right.
How do I revisit it and not waste that opportunity? It's leverage. That's the key.
Yeah. So you start thinking of it as an asset. Each episode is an asset. And then, how do they connect and correlate with a series of episodes?
Yep.
Right. Like, I mean, I've got 3 great episodes on podcasting. And so there's a little training there because there's 3
100%.
very different perspectives. Right. And,
100%. Yep. And then you can start putting those together. You can start even giving them to your community as a separate entity, as a special offer. You can start getting really creative. So first of all, you're just creating the content, you're creating the assets, or keeping the assets. And then you start thinking about, how do I leverage them? How do I use them? How do I promote them to create more leverage for my brand? So that's the key. And that's why when I talk about podcasting, I always say podcasting is great. It's fun in its own self. Great. We have fun, we chat, but it's what you do with the podcast that makes the difference.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't do enough with it. They just do the show. Show's over. Here's your files. Great show, guys. Thank you very much. No, you wasted all that energy.
Yeah, that's interesting. So I take these all, I build a blog post from them. I use it for blog. I have a separate YouTube channel than that's just for the show. I post them to Spotify, Amazon, Apple.
Yep.
And then promote like heck on actually, I love Twitter. Very, very affordable advertising on Twitter.
Yep.
And then LinkedIn. We have 5 posts that we do on LinkedIn after each show.
Yeah, LinkedIn is really powerful. LinkedIn, from an organic point of view, is really powerful. And what I generally do is take a little 30-second co-branded trailer video or snippet.
Yep.
I put that up on LinkedIn and on my other channels, and then I point people to the full show, audio and video form. And those pieces of content do better than all my other stuff.
So you take the short and you post the short to LinkedIn, essentially.
Yep. So you got a 30-second trailer. It's like your key moment.
Yeah.
And people say, wow, that sounds interesting. I want to watch the full show now.
Love it.
And then you link people back to the full show.
All right. Well, I'm gonna take that and do that for promoting on ours. On LinkedIn.
It works really well because it's video, it's interesting, it's short. And even if people don't click any further, they've already still registered. Emmanuel does that.
Yeah.
He speaks about that. They got to hear his voice. They got to see his face. It's already created a lot of brand.
No, it's beautiful. And what I'm seeing with the shorts is that we're probably getting 15 times the number of views on the shorts than the full length. So,
I'm finding the same thing on Facebook Reels. Facebook Reels are on fire compared to general Facebook posts.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. And it makes sense. That's a good, it's a nice nugget. Thanks for that, Terry.
Yeah. Definitely put them on Facebook Reels as well.
Oh, well, let's see. How about like in the course of a 12-month calendar year, how do you kind of build what content goes in which episode and how they interconnect? Talk to me a little bit about that.
Not well enough. So I tend to kind of just react, and I've got different shows lined up all the time.
Yep.
But if I do see that there's a show that is too similar in it, like one after the other, I'll just wait a couple of weeks before I launch that one.
Yeah.
So because I like it to be variety.
Yep.
Again, it depends on the show that you're doing. If you're doing a show just about marketing, you can have quite similar episodes one after another.
Sure. Yeah.
Because my show is a very much a variety show. I don't want to talk about finance every single show.
Right.
I want to mix it up and keep it fresh. So I kind of just, 2 or 3 weeks between, I kind of just do it that way. but I could probably prepare a little better.
I got you. No, that's interesting. Let's see. What about the frequency? How are you on every week?
Yeah, so I block out my calendar usually on a Friday afternoon because that's a good time for me to do a show. And I do a show, sometimes 2 shows, but usually 1. And then I'm on usually a 1-week cycle. But sometimes things get a bit busy and I can't release them for another few days or a week. So I'll just release them when I can. Like I don't get too caught up about have to be released at this moment, at this time, every single week. I try and keep the consistency as best I can. And then if it's a day or 2 here and there, whatever, it's fine.
And do you find any, a big variance in downloads or listenership based on how you're releasing episodes?
Yes and no. Like, honestly, I don't even look at the metrics so much because for me, it's more about the long game. It's about the branding. It's about what I can do with those episodes.
Yep.
But I know I just every now and again I look and say, how many people have been listening on Podbean, how many people have been looking at it on YouTube. I check some of my metrics. Where are they from? But, they kind of just flow nicely. And I don't really get too caught up with, this week or last month, my metrics are down a little bit. Why? You can, but I want to be consistent for the long term and I don't want to get caught up in the little things. I want to just keep putting out good content, building great relationships, building my asset portfolio, and then leveraging all that stuff to the best of my ability.
Love it. Yeah, I hear it. I hear it. It's as much of a creative act as it is looking for the KPIs, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we're aligned that way. That's cool.
Yeah. And also you can get a bit disappointed if what happened here? My metrics are down a little bit now. You might start doubting yourself, but keep on going, and all of a sudden you hit critical mass, or you come on a show like this, and people get to know you, and your metrics go up again. So I don't worry too much about analyzing and being paralyzed by all that kind of stuff.
All right, I like it. Well, let's see. So what's coming up next for you? Do you have some workshops? Do you have a new book coming out? What do you got? What's going on here?
One day I'm going to write a book. I'm going to get someone to help me or ghost write a book. But no, that's nothing in the pipeline yet, but I'm doing lots of webinars. So funny enough, if anybody's interested, I'm doing a free webinar this Saturday, Australian time, but I'm going to record it and distribute it to anybody that's registered. So feel free to come along. And I'll give you the link to that if you like as well.
Yeah, just go ahead and say it out loud right now.
Yeah. Well, it's just trying to think of where the best place to find it. Probably the best place would be to email me, and then I can send you the link. So just email me, go to my website, which is suspendedanimation.com.au. You'll find all my details there. Email me and I'll send you the link to the webinar. Otherwise, it's a bit of a long one to kind of read out.
Yeah, no, that's cool. What's the topic for the webinar?
So the topic is just going to be really, really relaxed Q&A, new products, new tech, new trends in podcasting. We might even touch a bit of monetization as well, all sorts of things like that. So that's just a fun 2-hour webinar. I've always got products and things that I'm promoting, monetization webinar I did a little while back, 15 different ways to monetize your podcast. I've got all sorts of courses that I run. So you can find all that stuff on my website as well.
All right. So you can be a resource for people who are either thinking about developing a podcast or have got a podcast started and want to move to the next level.
Definitely. And I'm also starting to tackle a little bit more on the guest side, because I find there's a bit of a gap in the market for guests that don't want to have their own show. They might not have the time or the energy.
Yeah.
But they want to get better at executing their message when they go on other people's shows. So I have a little bit of a course that I put together to help guests as well, which is fun.
All right. Well, that all sounds good. And you've got an amazing amount of experience and the artist perspective for how to participate. So I love that.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate your time this morning, and thanks for spilling some secrets with us. And I'm hoping that we can catch up again in a few months and see what's new.
You bet. And I'd love to have you on my show. So we'll set that up too.
Okay, that sounds good. Well, hang out for a second. Let me close this up, and we'll check in backstage.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Darren. I appreciate it.
Thanks for listening to Marketing in the Age of AI. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast so you never miss a future episode. Your copy of Authentic Marketing in the Age of AI is available at Amazon.com or EmmanuelRose.com. You can also connect with Emmanuel on LinkedIn.